this article here where it says Nneka Ogwumike calls out Adam Silver, WNBA, over the latest CBA proposal. Ogwumike feels that the players have been operating with the necessary urgency already. Okay, here it says, although it was NBA All-Star Weekend, Adam Silver couldn't escape questions about the WNBA CBA negotiations. He said that something he would love to do is put pressure on.
That's Nneka Ogwumike, president of the WNBA Players Association, openly calling out NBA Commissioner Adam Silver during a podcast with Jamala Hill and Carrie Champion. And she's not holding anything back. This isn't subtle criticism or careful diplomacy. She's directly challenging Silver's public statements on the CBA negotiations and accusing the league of moving without urgency. That's bold. That's historic. And it shows just how high the tension has escalated as the WNBA edges closer to what could be its very first strike.
She appeared on Flagrant and Funny with Carrie Champion and Jamel Hill. Shout out to y'all. Ogwumike said, I actually was a little bit confused when Adam Silver said that, because as players, we have certainly had a sense of urgency, so much so that we've moved a substantial amount on this portion of the agreement that we know is going to allow everything else to fall in place. That portion is in revenue shares. The league, on the other hand, hasn't operated in the same sense of urgency, according to Ogwumike. She outlined how the players initially asked for 40% of the revenue, but lowered that number.
Here's what went down. During NBA All-Star Weekend in February, Adam Silver was asked about the WNBA's collective bargaining agreement negotiations. He said the league needs to step up the urgency, that they're in the 11th hour, and that people need to stop playing games. Typical commissioner talk pressure both sides, create urgency, get a deal done. But Nneka Ogwumike wasn't having it. On the Flagrant and Funny podcast, she fired back. We've been operating with urgency, Adam. It's your league that's dragging its feet. And she didn't stop there. She broke down the numbers to prove it.
Wait, y'all started at 40. Yeah, y'all done lost your mind. Lock their asses out then if they want to play like that. Like, I want to see Caitlin Clark hoop, but if y'all going to be talking nonsense, lock their asses out. Let's move on with the players on rookie contracts. Let's draft rookies. Let's move on with some replacement players, man. Like, hey, Adam, y'all need to start banning people. When they talk crazy, when they get up there and talk too crazy, y'all need to lay y'all foot down. Like, what are you talking about? This is crazy. Here it says, over time, we've come down to degrees that are not equivalent or equitable to how the league has been proposing. Ogwumike said. So when we gave our proposal in December, we had come down to somewhere closer to 28%. And that was where we had not heard a response for about 6 weeks until.
Let's break down what's actually on the table, because this is where it gets really interesting. The WNBA players initially asked for a 40% revenue share. Yes, 40%. Before you react, here's the context. NBA players get 50%, while the WNBA has been subsidized by the NBA for most of its history, often operating at a loss. After 28 seasons, the league finally turned a profit in 2024. Seeing that momentum, fueled by record ratings thanks to Caitlin Clark and packed arenas, the players said, we want a fair slice of this growth. And 40% was their opening move.
Quite frankly, the league's first proposal had the player shares at less than 13, and they're still stuck at 14.5. It's not even at 15. So to come back 6 weeks later, and that's still where they're at, doesn't demonstrate a sense of urgency from them. It says a strike is still on the table. The players still have the option to strike, which would be a first in the league history. But Ogwumike reiterated, players want to play the 2026 season. It's in everybody's best interest. Having a 2026 season is the best way to build on the momentum the league has gained over the last few seasons. And for players to continue to build their brands, while there are many other options for players now, the WNBA is the most established league and that carries weight with brands that.
But here's where Nneka Ogwumike's argument gets sharp. She explained that the players had already come down significantly from their initial 40% ask. By December 2024, they were willing to settle around 28%, a 12-point drop, giving up nearly a third of their original demand. And what did the league do? According to Ogwumike, the league's first proposal offered less than 13%. After 6 weeks of silence, following the players' December offer, the league finally came back with 14.5%, not even 15%. So the players dropped 12 points. The league moved 1.5. And then Adam Silver goes on TV and lectures everyone about needing to operate with more urgency.
At the same time, however, the players don't want to back down on what they feel they deserve, because that would mean failing generations of players who dealt with terrible playing conditions to get the league to where it is, and future generations still waiting for their chance to help grow the game. I'm tired of hearing about all this stuff from the people from the past. Listen, man, all y'all was doing was collecting debt. Let's stop playing games. Y'all was collecting debt. Nneka Ogwumike, you're talking a little bit too hot for somebody who, over your career, prior to Caitlin Clark arriving, you couldn't get the league lit. Natasha Cloud, you couldn't get the league lit. None of y'all could. Chelsea Gray, you couldn't get the league lit.
Here's the crucial part. The WNBA season is set to tip off in May 2025, and that's not much time. The league has the expansion draft for the Golden State Valkyries, free agency, and the college draft, where Paige Buchers is expected to go number 1. All of that can't happen smoothly without a CBA in place. Without an agreement, a lockout or strike becomes a real possibility, a historic first for the WNBA. The league has never faced a labor dispute like this before, and the stakes couldn't be higher, especially after the momentum it built in 2024.
League lit. Y'all didn't get a buzz for real till 2024, man. Y'all wasn't getting million view watch games prior to Caitlin Clark. Let's just stop playing games. Let's just stop. A recent in-person meeting in New York at least prompted the league to finally respond to the WNBPA's proposal from December. Ogwumike also said that the players would send their responses to the league's latest proposal soon. So at least there is some movement in negotiations, but time is ticking. The season is scheduled to start in May, which doesn't leave much time for the expansion draft, free agency, and the college draft. Time is definitely ticking, but my whole thing is Nneka taking shots at Adam Silver. You bold.
Here's why Nneka Ogwumike's public criticism is such a big deal. She's not just disagreeing with Adam Silver, she's calling him out with hard numbers and timelines. She said, "We proposed something in December. You didn't respond for 6 weeks. And when you finally did, you barely moved." That's not posturing. That's the head of the players' union publicly saying the commissioner misrepresented the situation, and she has the receipts to prove it. The league's first proposal? Less than 13%. After 6 weeks, they came back with 14.5%. The players dropped 12 points from their original demand. The league moved 1.5. Then Silver goes on TV, telling everyone to operate with more urgency. Some commentators think Ogwumike went too far. One even suggested banning players who speak out, sending Natasha Cloud overseas, or punishing Nneka herself. From that perspective, the players are ungrateful for the NBA subsidy and should just accept what they're given. But there's another side. These are athletes who built the league over decades. They played in empty arenas, flew commercial, and made $30,000 salaries while growing the sport. Now the league is profitable, and the players are offered 14.5% while being told they're not moving fast enough. Frustration is inevitable. The league's argument is that most of the 2024 ratings spike came from Caitlin Clark. Indiana Fever games featuring Clark averaged over 1 million viewers, while games without her struggled to hit 200,000. One superstar drove much of the growth. So the league worries about committing to a revenue share that might not be sustainable if Clark gets injured or retires. The players' argument is equally valid. They built the league's foundation, developed the talent pipeline, and created the environment that allowed Clark and others like Angel Reese and Aya Wilson to thrive. They've waited 28 years for fair compensation, and now that the league has proven there's an audience, they want their share. Both perspectives are valid, which is why this negotiation is so complicated. Publicly challenging Silver breaks the traditional labor playbook, but Ogwumike likely felt his comments unfairly pressured the players and shaped public perception against them. She reshaped the narrative with facts. The players have moved. The league hasn't. The stakes couldn't be higher. The 2025 WNBA season is coming, with the expansion draft for the Golden State Valkyries, free agency, and Paige Buchers' rookie year all on the line. A strike would be historic, the first in WNBA history, and could derail the league's momentum, alienate casual fans, and scare off sponsors. The gap is clear. The players' low 20s versus the league's mid-teens. Will they bridge it before the season? Ogwumike's willingness to publicly draw a line suggests the players are ready to take this to the brink. They won't quietly accept 14.5%. They're willing to strike if necessary. The likely outcome? Somewhere around 18 to 20% revenue share. The league moves up. The players come down. Both sides claim victory, but both are quietly disappointed. What's certain is that Ogwumike just raised the stakes. This isn't a typical negotiation. She's saying, we've waited 28 years. We've proven there's an audience. Pay us fairly, or we walk. Bold. Absolutely. Risky. Maybe. But this could define the WNBA's future.